My chairmanship at Hospice started when John Quinn decided he wanted to stand down. I suppose that he interested me enough to find out more about the job, what was going on here, and I said, yeah, okay, I'll take over, I'd be pleased to take over. But one of the things I was keen to establish before I finished, sort of during my period as chairman, is that we became a board of governors overseeing the operation of hospice rather than actually managing it. And I didn't know who all the board members were until John brought me along and introduced me to them. I've been amazed at the commitment they have shown, every single one of them. The most significant change I've known in the life of Hospice Isle of Man is, of course, the move from St Bridget's Hospice to this new building. And Mary and I were involved with the fundraising, the initial fundraising for this building. And the change from a converted large house to a purpose-built facility was a great move and fantastic for the patients, where they have their own room with ensuite facilities, all of that, which we take as for granted these days, was absolutely fantastic. The other big change, if I may say so, of course, is when Margaret stood down as chief exec, and we appointed Anne. And we appointed Anne because we felt that hospice had plateaued, and it needed to do something more. And Margaret, Anne has now been in place for 2.5 years or thereabouts, and that is certainly happening. And hospice is now going to outreach into the community and into people's homes and into nursing homes, and I think that's just a wonderful piece of work.
So Miles has been a great supporter. I don't know really how I might have settled in Ireland without Miles' support. He and Lady Mary made my husband Ken and I so welcome, nice big warm Manx welcome when we arrived here. So Miles appointed me, and that was a big thing really, and I've had his unstinting support since I've been here, and he's just a very special person, and he's very much part of the fabric of hospice. And he's given me a lot of constructive challenge as well as that lovely support, but a lot of constructive challenge.
I'm awed in the way that Anna's moving Hospice Isle of Man forward, and now that she's got her own team around her, built and organised by herself, I think hospice is really going to move forward at a pace, and I'll be interested to see it.
When Sir Miles told me he was leaving, I mean, my first reaction really was, oh no, I think I'm going to cry. And it really went on from there, though, that it was a very positive and constructive thing, because we'd worked so hard on the new strategy, and he is very instrumental, and I can see him in every part of that new strategy. He really understands the philosophy of hospice care, and he knows how well we care for people here. And he coined the phrase hospice influenced care wherever you are, wherever you need it. And I took it and made it my own. And then we adopted it in our new strategy. So we can see Sir Miles all over that strategy, and really looking forward to delivering it for him as part of his legacy.
When I thought about standing down, and I don't really know when that first came into my mind, I just felt that it was time to hand over to somebody else. A lot of the work of hospice is digital. It's this new thing that's happening to the world, and hospice has got involved in it, quite rightly, and is going to stay there. The person, in my view, with the most interest and knowledge about that particular world is Chris Hall. And I was delighted when Chris said yes, he would make time to chair hospice, because I know that he will take it forward in a way that Ian and lots of others understand, and I'm not very good at.
Oh, what skills do I bring to the party? You'd probably have to ask other people that. But I have had a lot of experience in the outside corporate world, working actually both with big companies through to PLC listed companies, right down to the smallest startups. I've had here on the island, my main role was as Chief Executive Manx Telecom, which was all about aiming to deliver excellent customer service, all about innovation, and above all about having a great team. So I actually see an awful lot of parallels between the Manx Telecom role and then now here at Hospice, because it's all about delivering outstanding service to the community, about innovation and doing new things in new ways and exploiting the technology to become absolutely world leading at what we do. But above all, it's people, people, people.
When Sir Miles told me he was leaving and we started to think about the process of, who would take over as chair, I think it was important for me as a chief executive, as we've been working so hard on that strategy, that we would have stability and continuity of that strategy. And we made a conscious decision not to go out and look for someone else who wasn't on the board. And I'm really pleased to say that, Chris, it was a unanimous decision of all the board members. And that's a great position as a CEO to be in.
So one of the key things, obviously, as a board we're focused on is setting the strategy and then bringing it to life and delivering it. So we've worked very, very hard. The great thing about the strategy was it's research based. So we actually didn't just dream this up on a white bit of paper. We actually went out there and talked to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people about where the world was going, what they wanted from hospice. So this has been, although it looks very simple on 8 bits of paper, it's actually a lot of thought, a lot of planning had gone to it. So for me, the strategy is all about, actually we will be making the building better, because yes, it's good, but it's 10 years old, and there's chances to actually improve it, do things a bit differently. So that's definitely something we will be doing, but actually much more than that, it's about getting the care out into the community, about widening the scope of what we do, and actually, ultimately, as for our colleagues over at Nobles, meeting the increasing demands. And I've obviously had the opportunity to work very closely with Anne on developing the strategy and on the digital team. So we'll be working very, very closely together, and I see myself actually as perhaps a bit of sounding board for Anne.
Chris is going to be a marvellous chairman. He's chaired our digital strategy. He's equally as challenging as Sir Miles has been to me. And I know that we're going to have a fantastic relationship going forward. So
really look forward to working closely with Anne, because she's so dynamic, so visionary, and absolutely the right person for hospice at the right time. So what have I learnt from Sir Miles? Wow. But if you've got an hour, I could probably tell you everything I've learnt from Miles. I've been lucky enough to work with Sir Miles both outside of hospice in the private sector on a couple of other company boards, and then ever since he's been chairman here at Hospice. He's just an absolutely amazingly good chairman. He's just committed to everything he does. He's organised, he knows everybody, he chairs the meetings well, and he is great at getting everyone together and heading in the same direction. So he's been an absolutely amazing figurehead for Hospice. There's no way I could ever replicate that sort of the same, so I'll have to do the job my way. But what I have learned from him is the importance of having a good team around you. I think Miles has built a really superb team of governors. We all have diverse skills, different strengths, and that's probably one of the key learnings, that if you've got a great team around you, a great board and a great executive team, then the job's easier and more pleasurable.
Well, Chris and I have been chatting about how he's going to get to know the team better, and I know that he's really looking forward to meeting everybody in the team. That includes patients, families, volunteers and staff. So watch this space. Chris is going to be around and about the building even more.
Since I've been here, I think the main thing is every time I walk through the door, you just feel humbled by the enthusiasm and the motivation and the caring of the team here. It's just, it's difficult to describe. In business, you're there ultimately to do a good job for the customers and to make money, but this is just different. You're just here to absolutely do the very, very best you can. And I find it quite humbling to come in and listen to the stories about what we deliver.
Without the doubt, the thing I've enjoyed most is meeting people outside who've said, "Oh, you're associated with hospice." Yes, not knowing what was going to come. It's just the most wonderful place. It looked after my granddad, or it looked after my relations, or my husband, or my wife, and that has given me great joy, thinking that when people really are up against it, the comfort and support they've got from Hospice Isle of Man, and they recognise, you know, that it's hospice, has done them all good.
On behalf of staff, volunteers, patients and their families, huge thank you to Sir Miles for everything he's done for us up to now, and also to say I'm looking forward to introducing Chris to the team, and I know that they're all looking forward to meeting him too. So it's always difficult when you have change, but I think we've got a fantastic team, and I know that Sir Miles is still going to support us. And as much as we will miss Sir Miles, I don't think he's going to be going into hiding anytime soon. I you know, he'll still be around, but Chris is going to support us into that next era that we're entering now with our new strategy.
But I'd be very happy to fill in any particular role, any requests that people have, they think that I might be able to assist in. I mean, I'm not going anywhere, and my love for this place won't change. Yeah, I had a friend, and just before he died, he told me about his funeral arrangements. And you know, he said, I'm going to be all right. I'm going to be all right. Reverend Bird, I think, was in Port Eyre. He was going to have him, he was going to have the Catholic chaplain, and he said, between them and hospice, he said, I'm going to die happy. And it's a long time ago now, but I remember it like it was yesterday.